All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to today's meeting. Um, and thank you if you're also viewing afterwards. Thank you for keeping up with things. Um, yeah, so there's not too much going on, but uh, there are a couple things we can run through. Um, so we've got um, some events coming up, I believe. Um, and I think one of them for sure is the Veterans Experience event. And I think we talked about it at the last meeting. Um, and I can actually go and pull up um, I can pull up the website again. But basically, there's a series of events. There's like a photo exhibition and then a panel. Um, and so all of this series of events is like centering around like the veterans experience of like veterans. I think like specifically like the photo exhibition centers around uh, veterans who served in like Iraq and Afghanistan. Um, and let me see if I can find that link. Hold on 1 second. I know where it is. We sent out the link actually, I believe, in an email. Right, Simon? We sent out the link to the veterans experience thing.
The panel or the
Oh yeah. Oh, the speaker series, Invisible Wounds.
Invisible Wounds, yeah. Is that the veterans experience?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so the event, the series of events is titled In/Visible Wounds. And so that like kind of it's a speaker series that also is like kind of incorporates this the unknown soldier exhibit, which is like a photo exhibition. So like you can go and learn about the speaker series here at this website. And we'll probably send that out again in the meeting recap, this link. The exhibit opens Tuesday, November 7th, so you can go from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the creator of the exhibit, I guess his name is David J. It looks like he's going to have a conversation with some veterans. Yeah, it looks like it says the photo exhibition is a series of large-scale portraits in black and white, documenting young military veterans recovering from wounds upon their return home from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and Iraq. Although the photographs chronicle the physical effects of America's military conflicts, the exhibit focuses more broadly on giving visibility to the wounded among us and creates opportunities for stories of those who have been injured by war and trauma to emerge, to be told, and to be heard. So I think that sounds really cool. And I am definitely going to try and go. Oh, yeah, this has one thing on Friday. Hold on a second. Yeah, so it closes on Friday, November 17th. And then they have some more panelists and an MC. Wow. All right, this sounds fun. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys can make to that, and again, I believe they have accessibility information. So this gallery is, I guess, where the photos are going to be, and looks like that's in Friedel, this Friedel building here. So it looks like they have marked that this route. Let's see who's somebody here. Oh, hey, Diti. Yeah, so it looks like they have marked this this route here as accessible, and this basically goes on along the side of Friedel. So you can come up, and it looks like you can park either. Yeah, you can basically any of these. Does this mean you can park anywhere where it says P? Really?
Not sure. Doesn't seem like.
Well, no, this is the parking lot behind cars. So yeah, so you can park
either there.
Look, I guess here. It looks like there are a lot of parking spaces. And then again, this so this route, they've got sidewalks all along here, and when you want to get into Friedel, the accessible entrance is here, so you kind of come in on the side here. Yeah, so you can even pull your car up, right? Basically right up to Friedel. They're like, I guess they're letting people do that, which is great. Then I think this is generally for how to get to the organization that's organized the speaker series. Yeah. So yeah, let us know if you guys have any questions, and we'll certainly forward. We can certainly forward them along to the event organizers. And one thing I forgot to mention is that so I mentioned the opening and the closing of the event, but there are also these 3 events that are occurring in the middle, and one of them features our faculty advisor, Mary Karichi, right here, as well as Ashley Elrod. We know both of them; they're great. So, yeah, and so they're going to be talking about representation and disability, which is certainly very relevant when you're talking about veterans who have been wounded. It says, join us for a public discussion on representations and narratives of disability with Duke scholars and practitioners. Oh yeah, and Ashley is going to be the moderator, actually. So yeah.
So Dr. Q is going to talk about disability studies, right, topics.
Oh, cool.
Analyze some.
All right, yeah, that sounds fun. All right, let's see here. So a few other opportunities. And we'll of course be sending out information about all of these in the meeting recap email, either today or by tomorrow. I lost one of them. One second here. Sorry about this. I guess while I'm working on that, since you're here, would you be able to talk about anything you've heard from Bennett about the bus thing?
So sorry, 1 second. I'm just gonna try to get to you guys.
I'll let you know.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, just give me a second then.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
That awkward moment you forget about moving.
And again, I apologize for these. Um, so it looks like there's going to be an info session on Wednesday, November 8th, where there's like about this accelerated one-year business degree designed for liberal arts, science, and engineering majors. And it's the MS in Commerce at UVA. So that sounds really cool. That is at Bryant Hall. And I actually, unfortunately, do not know where that is. So I will. So we will be sending out information about this certainly well before this date. But I think what we'll have to do is contact this lady and ask for some accessibility information about this event. Because we definitely want to give you guys that. So, so we will get that and we'll send it. We usually try and send out an email partway through the week with event reminders and things like that. So when we send out that email, we'll hopefully have this information ready. The other thing is.
Also, Jay, I can talk now if you
Okay.
want to.
Yeah. Okay. 1 sec. I found this other email. So there's somebody that I met with last week. His name is Carmen Palladino, and he's like doing this project for a class, and it's a photo project regarding disability access and awareness on campus. And he basically wants to see if anyone wants to participate in this project and basically like be photographed, like trying to get around, like interacting with campus, as he says. And yeah, he's hoping to raise disability awareness on campus and like affect change. I talked with him about like a lot of the accessibility issues on the campus, like bathrooms, not like a lot of doors not having automatic door openers, like the accessible entrances being like convoluted and like in the back of the building and like things like that that are really inconvenient and almost disrespectful to people with disabilities, I would say. So yeah, basically look into that. So if you would like to be a part of this project and like if you think you would be able to help them like gain some information or insight on what issues on campus, then please email him directly or let us know and we can email him as well. Yeah, again, I had a really great meeting with him, so I'm really excited about what the results of this project are going to be. Yeah, I think that is the only other thing is when Simon did send out an email on Friday with a couple courses that center around disability. So, for example, our very own Ashley Elrod is teaching comparative disability history, history 390S, 0.05, section 05. Mondays and Wednesdays, 3:05 to 4:20 p.m. No prereqs, and you can look at this flyer that we sent out. And I think we can probably attach a link to it again in some way. So, but yeah, if you're looking for a history course, the code's on here. Unfortunately, it looks like, but seems like it'll be really interesting, and I'm sure it'll check a lot of boxes for everybody. So, yeah. And then we also have this class taught by Dan Ellison, who he's a great guy. He's worked on this Dada project, Durham Audio Described Art, and so he's really interested in disability rights, disability justice, and accessibility as well. And so looks like this is cross-listed in a bunch of departments. So it seems like it'd be a really good find for people that are looking to check some boxes for gen ed requirements. It's called Introduction to Nonprofit Social Institutions. And it's an approved PubPol elected and MMS. Do you know what that is?
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's a seminar. It checks off ethical inquiry and social sciences. And it's a service learning course. So looks great. So it's Theater Studies 310, Econ 247S, BMS, I think that's Visual Media Studies 329S, Innovation and Entrepreneurship 310S. Wow. Monday and Wednesday, 125 to 240. All right. So that looks like a really exciting opportunity. And the project, that data project is nationally recognized. So you will get to work on that actually, which is great. And now, sorry, DP, I think we've run through everything else now. So, you said you were able to go to that event on Friday?
Yes, I was. It was a great event, and I'm really happy that I was able to go to it. And one of the biggest takeaways that I got from it was there came up the concept or the importance of having a support network on campus for people with disabilities. And what the kind of thing to balance or keep in mind was that people with physical or very visible disabilities may be more inclined to kind of be open and talk about their experiences as compared to people with, correct me if I'm wrong, with invisible disabilities. So one of the ladies from the SDAO office came and gave a very nice presentation about getting registered and how the office can help to help students to get whatever accommodations they need. And she was saying that one of the reasons they're not in the Bryan Center is because like some students just don't want to be affiliated and don't want people to know that they have a disability because they have a stigma. So it's just kind of how do you build the support network in a way that people feel comfortable enough to share their experiences, but they don't necessarily feel exposed. And another really important thing that came up during the talk was there were faculty members there, and they were talking about like what's the best way to go about accommodating students for their needs. And it's just kind of hard to balance. Like sometimes there were faculty brought cases where their students were not registered with the SDAO, or like the disability they had was did not necessarily fall under the ADA. One of the experiences that one of the faculty members brought up was that one student had really, really poor handwriting and they just could not write legibly. So it's not necessarily a disability that you can get formal accommodations for, but the teacher had to let the student like type out his exams as opposed to writing them, so he could still demonstrate his mastery of the material. Otherwise, that handwriting was getting in the way of the students and teacher being able to understand each other. But that was kind of a conflict of interest, because if you're accommodating for one student in that regard, how do you stay fair to everyone else? So the professors were just kind of asking, we're really intrigued and interested to know what they could do that students would find very valuable and very important. But I also talked to one of the professors afterwards, and he said that, faculty, we do care about students. We do want to be able to support them, and we are open to listening to what they want. But at the same time, professors, they have a lot to get done. They sometimes are like, they post slides from their lectures, the dates might be all wrong because they reuse like the dates from last year. So they are like, sometimes they do have to cut corners. So the professors said that it'd be nice to have a wish list of some sorts where it's kind of collaborated by students, like a prioritized list of what they wish faculty would do, which would help them like really make a big difference in the way they're able to grasp or understand material. And some things and like low hanging fruit that's like it's easily done, it's easily implemented would be great, because like asking teachers to completely change the way they present a course is a little difficult, especially for if you're expecting a quick turnaround time. So one of the things that was suggested was like providing closed captions on lecture videos. And the facilitator of the talk was saying, you know, that's not very hard to do. But when I talked to the professor afterwards, he was like, it kind of is. Like closed captioning can take a really long time. So it's kind of like finding different outlets or that in balancing point where maybe, finding a software that can do the closed captioning for you. So I thought it would be a good project for DEA to take on, of just kind of reaching out to students and asking them what they think would help, like what they would want their professors to know, like, oh, it really helped when you did this, and then distributing that to faculty. And it would be very, very useful because they will be receptive to it.
Right, yeah, I think that would be something great that we could work on, definitely. I think that can kind of work in parallel with like generally, I think last meeting we basically started soliciting like anecdotes about accessibility issues on campus, and that can include like classroom stuff as well. So those two initiatives can almost kind of work in parallel or something.
Right.
Yeah, because that was something that Marion was talking about generally, that we just don't have this repository for what are the accessibility issues on campus. So having that would be a great thing, and I think these wish list for like basically classroom accommodations that would make that those would basically go hand in hand. So that's great. Yeah, we can definitely work on that. I mean,
because
yeah,
one of the biggest things that was coming up was that these small changes, they would make the biggest difference for students with disabilities, but it would also help the students who don't have any disabilities, because just having those extra like resources or whatever, it never harms, it only helps. So it'd be like a project that would be beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something that we I would definitely want to look at. So I guess the one question I had was like, so you mentioned that the faculty were bringing up a lot of concerns like related to like for example, like with the closed captioning, they were concerned like how do we do that, and how do we do that in a way where like it doesn't take up too much of our time, basically. So given that, I guess what was the response of the representative from SDAO? Who was that? Lee Fickling, who was there?
Yes, it was.
Great. Yeah, I know. So, so what did she say in response to those concerns?
She was there mainly to represent the SDAO and kind of talk about what SDA does and the resources they have for students. The closed captioning was kind of just mentioned on the side, like during the talk. It was part of like, this is something professors can do. It wasn't until when I reached out to the professor individually and asked him his thoughts, he was like, it's not that easy. So I don't know what Lee's thoughts on it are, but I think I can try and reaching out to her and asking what she thinks.
Yeah, because I think the thing is, there are resources that exist to help professors address accessibility concerns, such as closed captioning. I think if faculty had those concerns and they reached out to SDAO, I'm pretty sure that they would be able to receive a significant amount of assistance from them, especially if like, especially if it's like someone's accommodation, like if it's something somebody needs, like, then basically under the DEA they're entitled to it, especially. I think that's the thing. Like you know, that's the kind of confers some sort of official character, I guess, on people. It basically it's like kind of like you have the official backing of the office. Because
Mhm.
they've met with you and they've seen your documentation.
Yeah, it's definitely something. Another thing that the faculty brought up was that the professor said was that like there are a lot of mandates that come from a lot of places to professors, but where those mandates come from really affects how much they act on them. So a mandate from the SDAO would trump like a mandate or request from me as just like a student with like I guess backing from the SDAO. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think another thing to look at is like addressing those barriers, like why, like, I mean, because the way I see it, ideally, like everybody would be registered with SDAO, and the process wouldn't be something that's onerous or time consuming or hard for people to do. So I think it would be a good thing to like see if maybe we can also explore those, like what are those barriers um, to having a connection with SBA.
A lot of like stigma.
Stigma, yeah, certainly.
Shoot, that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, the process is basically, or like time wise, like onerous.
Well, I think I think especially depending on like what documentation you have and what the accommodations you're requesting are, it can be onerous. But yeah, I think the stigma is a big part of it. Like you were saying, BP, like people just don't like. A lot of people would rather not be associated with SBAO any more than they really feel like they need to. I know, like, because I know, like, for me, like, I have a very visible disability. I'm in this community whether I like it or not, and like, I can't pretend otherwise. But I think for a lot of people, they do have that choice to kind of, yeah, I guess like pass as able-bodied in some sense, or basically not to disclose their disability. And yeah, so I think exploring that, like what basically what are the dynamics of that? I think that's definitely something to explore. As always, we love to hear from people. So if you have any thoughts about this, like any issue with anything we've discussed, because like I know our viewpoints certainly don't represent the full spectrum of opinions. So if you have any questions or concerns or comments about anything we're discussing, we definitely love to hear from you. So please email us, Duke Disability Alliance at duke.edu. You can also message us on Facebook, where just if you search Duke Disability Alliance, you'll find our page. And we're also on Twitter at Duke Dis Alliance, and I think that's capitalized. And we have all that information in every email we send out. We have an email signature now, so that's nice. Thanks, Simon. So yeah, we want to hear from you. All right, I think that was about it, right, guys? Yeah. So you said you hadn't heard from Vinit about the bus situation?
I have not. I have not been able to follow up with him either, but I will definitely do that sometime this weekend. And
okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I know he's probably busy too with all of this requests and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, great. I think we are about done for now. I guess the only other thing is we are still planning on having Disability Pride Week in the spring, and again, we're looking for event ideas, and we're hopefully looking to get some artists to come to the Nasher and do some sort of performance event that incorporates like accessibility and disability. So yeah, if you have any thoughts about that, an event like that, like who we could invite maybe, or like where we could get funding also, or if you have any other event ideas, like if you liked anything we did last year, or like if you have anything new we could do, definitely please let us know. Yeah, all right. I think that's everything. So I think we can go ahead and end a little bit early. But thanks everybody for coming. And yeah, we will see you next week. All right, bye.